Marcus would never forget what he saw that afternoon by the river. He had just dismounted his horse to drink water when he saw her, a solitary figure sitting on the rocks, sobbing as if the entire world had collapsed on top of her. But there was something else, something that made Marcus stop dead in his tracks. The woman wore a dark, worn leather mask, covering her face completely. Only her eyes were visible through two small holes, and at that moment those eyes were closed as tears slid out from beneath the leather. Marcus's horse snorted, and the sound made the woman lift her head abruptly. Her eyes snapped open, bright with tears, and for a second they looked directly at each other. Then she sprang to her feet. Her body language screamed utter shame. "I'm sorry." Marcus's voice came out soft. He took off his hat. "I didn't mean to scare you. I just came for water." The woman didn't respond. She stood there, rigid, her fists clenched. Marcus could see her chest rising and falling with quick breaths like a cornered animal. "My name is Marcus," he tried again, keeping his distance. "I'm just a traveler." There was a long silence. The river flowed between them. Marcus was about to walk away when finally she spoke. "Anna." Her voice was barely a whisper, but there was something musical in it. "My name is Anna." Marcus took a careful step forward. "Anna is a beautiful name, Apache, right?" She nodded slightly. "From the tribe of the Eastern Mountains. Our camp is close by, beyond those hills." Anna gestured vaguely. "I come here when I need to be alone." Marcus sat down on a fallen log, giving her space. "Seems like a good place to think. It's the only place where I can breathe." Anna sat back down on the rock. Marcus decided to take a risk. "Anna, is there a reason you wear that mask?" The question landed between them like a stone. Anna went completely still, but she didn't flee. Instead, after what felt like an eternity, she lifted a hand and touched the mask. "Since I was 8, she said finally. "I've worn this mask since I was 8 years old." "Why so young?" Anna let out a humorless laugh. "Because that was the day I became ugly." If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and please leave us a comment telling us which country you're listening from. That makes us very happy and helps us keep bringing you more stories like this one. "Ugly," Marcus frowned. "Who told you that?" "My family," she replied. "I was playing near the rocks. I fell and scratched my face. Nothing serious, just a small mark. But when my mother saw it, she screamed. She screamed as if she had seen something horrible. Then she cried for days." Marcus felt his jaw tighten but forced himself to stay quiet. "My father looked at me and said, 'No one will want to marry a marked girl.' I was 8 years old." Anna touched the mask. "It was my older brother who made this mask. He said it was to protect me, to keep people from looking at me with pity." "And you believed them? What choice did I have? I was a child. My parents, my brothers, my uncles, they all said the same thing, so I put on the mask and decided maybe they were right." 15 years, she continued, her voice bitter. 15 years wearing this mask day and night, 15 years without anyone seeing my face. Not even I look at myself in the mirror anymore. Why would I?" Marcus stood up and walked to the river. He picked up a stone and threw it into the water. "Anna, can I tell you something you might not want to hear?" She looked at him cautiously. "Go ahead. I think your family has been lying to you for 15 years. The silence that followed was profound. Anna went completely still, as if those words had stopped time itself. What do you mean?" Marcus turned to face her, his eyes serious. "No small mark justifies 15 years of hiding. No minor scar deserves an 8-year-old girl being condemned to a life in the shadows. There's something that doesn't add up in this story, Anna." Anna stood up abruptly. "No, you haven't even seen my face. How can you know?" "Because I've lived long enough to recognize cruelty when I see it," Marcus answered firmly. "And what your family did to you, that wasn't love, that wasn't protection." Tears began to fall again. "But if they're wrong, if they've been wrong all this time, then I've wasted 15 years of my life believing a lie. Or it could be the first day of the rest of your life discovering the truth." The wind blew through the trees. Anna looked at this stranger who had appeared at her secret river. This man who had planted a seed of doubt. "Will you come to our camp tomorrow?" she asked suddenly. "Traders and travelers are welcome." I could see for yourself, see how they treat me." Marcus nodded. "I'll come, but I'm not coming to see how they treat you. I'm coming because something tells me it's time for someone to see the truth." As the sun set and Marcus rode back, he couldn't shake the image of Anna alone by the river. There was something deeply wrong about this whole situation. And Anna, lying in her tent that night with the mask still on, touching it with trembling fingers, wondered for the first time in 15 years whether the stranger was right, whether it had all been a lie. The simple possibility was terrifying and exciting at the same time. Tomorrow, she thought, tomorrow maybe she would start looking for answers to questions she had been too afraid to ask. The river kept flowing in the darkness, indifferent to human dramas, but carrying with it the promise of change, of truth, of something Anna barely dared to name: hope. Morning arrived with a bright sun painting the hills gold. Marcus prepared his horse carefully, checking his saddlebags full of trade goods, fabric, tools, spices. It was his perfect excuse to visit the camp. They both knew he had come for another reason. When he arrived at the camp, the first thing he noticed was the uncomfortable silence that fell over the place. The women who had been working with hides looked up, the children stopped playing, and several men approached with cautious but not hostile expressions. "Welcome, traveler," said an older man with feathers in his hair. I am Kuruk, the chief's brother. Have you come to trade? Yes. Marcus dismounted and extended his hand. My name is Marcus. I have fine fabrics and metal tools. As they talked about prices and goods, Marcus searched with his eyes and then he saw her. Anna was on the other side of the camp near a tent, working alone at a loom. The mask still covered her face and something in her posture told him she was aware of his presence. I see you noticed the masked girl, said Kuruk, following his gaze. His tone had changed, growing colder. Marcus tried to sound casual. The masked girl, that's what we call her, interrupted a woman who had been listening. She was older, with gray hair pulled back. She's my daughter, Anna, poor creature, Marcus repeated, feeling anger begin to boil in his chest. She had an accident as a child, Anna's mother sighed dramatically. Her face was ruined. It's better that you don't see it. That's why she wears the mask. It's for her own good, so people don't have to see that. Marcus clenched his fists inside his pockets. I understand. No one wants her for marriage, of course, the woman continued as if discussing the weather. What man would want to wake up every day seeing that face? She's a burden on the family, but what can we do? She's our blood. Kuruk nodded with fake sadness. It's a shame. She was such a pretty girl before the accident. Now it's better she keeps the mask on. At least this way she can be among us without causing discomfort. Marcus felt his blood boil. Every word was like a whip, and he could imagine how many times Anna had heard these same phrases, this same poison disguised as concern. I would like to see her weavings, Marcus said suddenly. I've heard Apache textiles are the best. Anna's mother seemed surprised. You want her to show you? Well, I suppose she can do that. At least her hands work well, even if her face. Please call her. The woman shouted Anna's name as if calling a dog. Marcus watched Anna tense up, leave her work, and walk slowly toward them. Her head was down, her shoulders hunched. Every step showed years of making herself small, invisible. This trader wants to see your weavings, her mother said in a dismissive tone. Show him what you have and don't waste his time. Anna nodded without speaking and gestured for Marcus to follow her. As they walked toward her work area, Marcus could feel the tribe's eyes on them. He could hear the whispers. When they were far enough away, Anna finally spoke. Her voice was barely a whisper. Now you see, now you understand why I wear the mask. Everyone thinks the same. No, Marcus said firmly. What I see is a family poisoning you with lies. What I hear are cruel words disguised as concern. Anna stopped dead. But they're my family. Why would they lie? Marcus looked around, making sure no one could hear them. Anna, yesterday you told me the mark on your face was small, just a scratch from when you were a child. Right? Yes, but then why did they react as if it were something monstrous? Why did your mother scream? Why did your father talk about marriage when you were 8 years old? Marcus leaned closer. None of those reactions make sense for a small mark. Anna began to tremble. Maybe it was worse than I remember. Or maybe, Marcus spoke slowly, letting each word sink in, they wanted a reason to control you, to keep you small, obedient, grateful for any crumb of affection they gave you. Tears began to fall from Anna's eyes, slipping out from under the mask. No, they can't be that cruel, no. Marcus pointed toward where the family stood. I heard your mother call you a burden. I heard your uncle say you caused discomfort. Those aren't words of love, Anna. Those are words designed to keep you in your place. At that moment, Anna's older brother, a large man named Takoda, approached with heavy steps. What's going on here? Anna, why are you crying? Is this man bothering you? No, I just... Anna began, but Marcus interrupted. I was telling her that her weavings are beautiful as the person who made them. Takoda narrowed his eyes. Watch your words, stranger. You don't know what you're talking about. Then enlighten me, Marcus said, standing tall and facing the larger man. Tell me why a small childhood mark requires your sister to wear a mask for 15 years. Explain the logic to me. The logic is that her face frightens people, Takoda growled. It's better this way. It's for her own good. Have you seen her face recently? Marcus asked. Or are you just repeating what you were told when you were a child? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Takoda opened his mouth, then closed it. For a moment, something like doubt crossed his face, but he quickly hardened again. I don't need to see anything. I know what I know, and you, stranger, need to remember your place. Anna is our family's business. Anna is an adult woman, Marcus replied calmly. Capable of making her own decisions, not when those decisions hurt her. Takoda took a threatening step toward Marcus. The mask protects her. Without it, everyone would see. See what? Marcus interrupted. See the truth. That's what really scares you. Takoda raised his fist, and for a moment it seemed he would strike Marcus. But then Anna stepped between them, her voice stronger than Marcus had ever heard it before. Enough, both of you, enough. She turned to her brother. Takoda, go. I can handle this, Anna. Go. Takoda stared at her for a long moment, then spat on the ground near Marcus's feet and walked away, muttering threats. When he was gone, Anna turned to Marcus, her body trembling. You need to leave now. My family can get violent, and they think someone is filling my head with ideas. Ideas, Marcus asked softly, or truths? Anna didn't respond. She just stood there, trapped between the world she knew and the terrifying possibility of something different. Marcus slowly gathered his things. I'll be camping near the river for the next few days. If you need to talk, if you need anything, you know where to find me. As Marcus walked away from the camp, he could feel dozens of eyes on him, hostile and distrustful, but he didn't care. Because he also knew that Anna was watching him, and in her eyes he had seen something that wasn't there before. Doubt. Beautiful, dangerous, liberating doubt. and that doubt was the first step toward the truth. 3 nights had passed since Marcus's visit to the camp. 3 nights in which Anna couldn't sleep, tossing and turning in her tent, touching the mask that had been part of her for so long. Marcus's words echoed in her mind like constant drums. What if they had been lying to her? It was past midnight when Anna finally made a decision. She rose silently, wrapped a blanket over her shoulders, and left her tent. The camp was silent. Only the occasional crackle of dying embers from the central fire broke the stillness of the night. Her feet knew the path to the river, even in the dark. She had walked this trail thousands of times, always seeking that place where she could be alone, where the cruel words couldn't reach her. But tonight was different. Tonight she wasn't fleeing. Tonight she was seeking answers. She wasn't surprised to find Marcus sitting by the river, looking at the stars reflected in the water. It was as if he had known she would come. "I couldn't sleep," Anna said softly, sitting at a safe distance. Marcus didn't turn around, giving her space. "Neither could I keep thinking about what I saw in your camp, how they treat you." There was a long silence. The river flowed between them, patient, eternal. "Marcus," Anna began, her voice trembling. "What if you're right? What if they've been lying to me all these years? That would mean—" Her voice broke. "That would mean my own family has been deliberately torturing me." "I know," Marcus replied gently. "That's a terrible truth to face." Anna hugged herself, rocking slightly. "But why? Why would they do something like that? I'm their daughter, their sister. They're supposed to love me." "Sometimes love gets mixed up with ugly things." Marcus finally turned toward her. "Fear, control, tradition. Sometimes families harm the very ones they should protect." Tears began to fall again, an endless river. "I'm so scared, Marcus. Scared to take off the mask and find out they were right. Scared to take it off and find out they were wrong. I don't know which fear is worse." Marcus moved closer, though he still kept a respectful distance. "Anna, can I tell you something?" She nodded, wiping her eyes. 5 years ago, I met a man in a northern village. He had been blind since childhood, or so he believed. His family had told him an illness had stolen his sight. He lived 30 years in darkness, depending on them for everything." Marcus paused. "One day, a traveling doctor examined him. You know what he discovered?" "What?" Anna whispered. "That the man had never been blind. His eyes worked perfectly. His family had simply blindfolded him as a child and told him he couldn't see. They repeated it so many times that he believed it, even after they removed the blindfolds. His mind had accepted the lie as truth." Anna gasped. That's monstrous." "Yes," Marcus nodded. "It is. But it's also exactly what I think happened to you. You were told you were ugly so many times that you accepted it as an unchangeable fact, even when there was no real evidence." "But I saw my mother's reaction," Anna protested weakly. "I saw the horror on her face." "Did you see horror at your appearance?" Marcus asked gently. "Or did you see a mother seeing an opportunity, a way to keep her daughter close, obedient, grateful?" Anna stood abruptly, walking to the water's edge. Her reflection stared back from the dark surface, but all she could see was the mask, always the mask. "I can't," she said suddenly. "I can't take it off. What if I take it off and I really am horrible? What if your confidence in me is just kindness, and when you see the truth, you also walk away?" Marcus stood and walked to stand beside her. "Then let me tell you something you need to hear, Anna. I already saw you." The world seemed to stop. "What?" "Yesterday when I left the camp, I stopped on the hill. I looked back with my spyglass just to make sure you were okay." Marcus kept his gaze steady. "I saw you come out of your tent without the mask, just for a moment, just a second before you put it back on. But I saw you, Anna." Anna staggered, her legs nearly giving way. No, that's not possible. I always check that no one is nearby before I know, and you were right, no one from the camp was watching. But I was on the hill, too far away for you to see me." Marcus took one step closer. "Anna, listen to me carefully. You are beautiful, incredibly, painfully beautiful." "You're lying," she sobbed, shaking her head violently. "You're just being kind. There's only a small mark," Marcus continued, "barely visible, the size of my pinky finger on your left cheek. I wouldn't even call it a scar, more like a faint line, the kind 1,000 people have that no one notices. That's all, Anna. That's all there is." Anna fell to her knees, her hands trembling as they reached for the mask. It can't be that simple. It can't be. Your family lied to you." Marcus knelt in front of her. "They lied to you brutally and systematically for 15 years, and the worst part is they did it so well that even now, even as I tell you the truth, you doubt." "Why?" Anna cried out to the night sky. "Why would they do something like that? I'm their daughter." "I don't know," Marcus admitted. "Maybe control, maybe twisted tradition, maybe fear that if you knew your true worth you would leave. But the why doesn't matter now. What matters is what you're going to do with this information." Anna looked at her hands trembling over the edges of the mask. 15 years. 15 years of her life stolen by a lie. 15 years of hiding, of shame, of believing she was less than human. "I'm scared," she whispered. "I know. I'll stay with you while you take it off." Marcus nodded. "I'm not going anywhere." Slowly, with hands that trembled so much she could barely grip the leather, Anna began to untie the straps that held the mask in place. Each undone knot felt like breaking chains. Each breath felt like the first true air she had breathed in years. When the last strap came loose, she held the mask in her hands for a moment. This object that had defined her existence, that had been her prison and her shield. She looked at Marcus one last time, seeking courage in his steady eyes, and then with a quick movement, before fear could stop her, she removed the mask. The cool air touched her face for the first time under the stars. She felt the wind on her skin. She felt freedom and terror in equal measure. She closed her eyes, unable to look at Marcus, unable to bear seeing the disappointment or horror that would surely be on his face. Anna, Marcus's voice was soft, full of wonder. Open your eyes, please. Slowly trembling, she opened her eyes, and what she saw on Marcus's face was not horror or disappointment. It was admiration. It was anger at what had been done to her. It was determination. Look, Marcus gently took her hand and guided her toward the water where the full moon provided enough light to create a reflection. For the first time in 15 years, Anna looked at herself, truly looked, and what she saw took her breath away. Anna couldn't stop looking at her reflection in the water. The full moon illuminated her face with cruel and beautiful clarity at the same time. There she was, a young woman with deep, expressive eyes, high cheekbones, full lips, and yes, there was a mark on her left cheek, but it was exactly as Marcus had said, barely visible, a thin line that in the moonlight looked almost silver. This can't be real, she whispered, touching her own cheek with trembling fingers. For 15 years they told me I was a monster. For 15 years I believed my face was something horrible. And for 15 years, Marcus said with a tense voice of restrained anger, you lived a lie designed to destroy you. Anna turned to him, tears flowing freely down her uncovered face. What do I do now? I can't go back. I can't face them. If I return without the mask. Then don't return, Marcus said simply. What? Anna blinked in confusion. Come with me. Leave this place. Leave the people who poisoned you for so long. Marcus extended his hand. Start a new life where no one knows the lie, where you can just be yourself. Anna's heart beat so hard she thought it would explode. But they're my family, despite everything. They're your family, Marcus shook his head. Anna, family doesn't do what they did to you. Family doesn't torture. Family doesn't lie to control. What they did was a crime against your soul. Anna knew he was right. Deep in her being, she knew every word was true. But 15 years of conditioning don't disappear in one night. I need to think, I need time to. A sudden noise interrupted them. Voices, torches. A group of people was approaching rapidly along the path from the camp. Anna, it was her brother Takoda's voice, furious and urgent. We know you're here. We know you're with that stranger. Marcus stood immediately, positioning himself between Anna and the path. Put the mask back on, quickly. No, Anna surprised herself with the firmness of her voice. I'm not hiding anymore. Anna, you don't know how they'll react. Exactly. She stood up, holding the mask in her hand but not putting it on. It's time they knew I know their lie. The group emerged from the path, Takoda at the front, followed by his mother, his father, and several other tribe members. They carried torches that illuminated their faces with dancing shadows. But when they saw Anna without the mask, they all stopped dead. The silence was absolute. Anna's mother was the first to speak. Her voice was a sharp shriek. Your mask, where's your mask? Put that thing on right now. No, Anna said, her voice trembling but clear. I'm never putting it on again. You'll shame us, her father shouted. You'll make us look like fools before the whole tribe. You made yourselves look like fools, Marcus interjected, his voice cold as ice, when you lied to your own daughter for 15 years. Takoda took a threatening step forward. Shut up, stranger. This is none of your business. It became my business when I saw what you did to her. Marcus didn't back down. You told her she was ugly when she's beautiful. You stole 15 years of her life with a lie. It's not a lie, Anna's mother screamed, but her voice had a desperate, hysterical tone. Her face is terrible. It's always been terrible. Then look at me, mother. Anna stepped forward into the torchlight. Look at me now and tell me I'm terrible. Say it looking into my eyes. Her mother looked away, unable to maintain eye contact. That was all Anna needed to see. The truth was written in that gesture of evasion. You always knew, Anna whispered, the realization hitting her like a punch. You always knew there was nothing wrong with my face. The lie was intentional from the beginning. We had our reasons, her father burst out. You're a woman, you needed to learn your place, you needed to be humble, grateful. If you had known you were beautiful, you would have become proud, disobedient. You would have left the tribe, you would have been free. Free, Anna finished the sentence, her voice full of a rage she had never allowed to surface. That's what you feared, that if I knew my worth, I wouldn't stay here to be your silent servant. Takoda roared and lunged at Marcus. This is your fault, you filled her head with lies. What happened next was quick. Takoda threw a punch, but Marcus dodged nimbly and in a fluid motion took Takoda's arm and twisted it, immobilizing him without seriously hurting him. I don't want to fight you, Marcus said, his voice tense, but I'm not going to let you hurt Anna ever again. Other men from the group moved forward, but Anna shouted, Stop, all of you stop. Her voice had such command, such power, that everyone froze. It was a voice she had never used before, a voice that had been buried under years of shame and silence. I've made a decision, Anna said, her heart beating so loud she could hear it in her ears. I'm leaving this tribe, I'm leaving this family, I'm going with Marcus. The shock on her family's faces was almost comical. Her mother staggered. Her father opened his mouth, but no sound came out. You can't, her mother finally found her voice. Without us, you're nothing. Without the tribe, you'll die. Without you, Anna replied, I might finally live. She turned to Marcus, who had released Takoda. If your offer still stands, I accept. I want to leave now, tonight. Marcus nodded, a small but proud smile on his lips. My camp is 10 minutes away by horse. I have enough supplies for two. No. Anna's father stepped forward, his voice turning into pleading. Anna, think about what you're doing. We're your family. We love you. Anna turned to him, and in her eyes there was a mixture of pain and freedom. If this is love, I'd rather live without it. She took the mask she still held in her hand and looked at it one last time. 15 years of her life contained in a piece of worn leather. 15 years of lies, of pain, of believing she was less than human. With a deliberate movement, she walked to the river and threw the mask into the water. The current caught it immediately, sweeping it downstream, spinning and spinning until it disappeared into the darkness. I'm no longer the girl you can control, Anna said, turning to her family one last time. I'm no longer your shame, your burden, your silent servant. I am Anna, and I am free. Marcus extended his hand, and without hesitation she took it. Together they began to walk toward where Marcus had left his horse, leaving behind the torches, the shouting voices, the threats, and the pleas. Are you sure? Marcus asked quietly as they walked. Once we cross that hill, there's no turning back. Anna looked back one last time. She saw her mother crying, her father shouting, Dakota being restrained by other men. She saw the tribe that had been her prison for 23 years. Then she looked forward into the unknown darkness, into terrifying freedom. I'm sure, she said, and for the first time in 15 years, she smiled with her face uncovered under the stars. 6 months had passed since that night by the river. 6 months since Anna had thrown the mask into the water and ridden toward a new life. Now she stood in front of her own home, a small but cozy cabin that she and Marcus had built together in a green valley far from her old tribe. The morning sun illuminated her uncovered face as she watered the flowers she had planted near the door. Wildflowers in bright colors that she would never have had the courage to grow before, because flowers were for beautiful people, and she had believed she was not. Good morning, beautiful. Marcus came out of the house with 2 steaming cups of coffee. He handed her one and softly kissed her forehead, a gesture she was still learning to accept without flinching. Good morning, Anna smiled, a gesture she now made freely without hiding her expression. Sleep well, like a log. Marcus sat on the doorstep. Though I heard you got up early again, Anna nodded, sitting beside him. I still have the nightmares. I dream I'm back in the camp, that the mask is stuck to my face and I can't take it off. Marcus took her hand. It's normal. 15 years don't erase in 6 months, but every day is a step further away from that lie. He was right. The first months had been hard. Anna would wake up startled, touching her face to make sure the mask wasn't there. She would stare at herself in the mirror for hours, trying to reconcile the image she saw with the image she had carried in her mind for so long. Sometimes she still heard her family's voices, ugly, shame, burden, but Marcus was always there, patient and constant, reminding her of the truth until the voices grew weaker. I've been thinking, Anna said, drinking her coffee. I want to do something meaningful. Like what? I want to help other people like me. Anna turned to him, her eyes shining with determination. There must be others out there, people who have been deceived by their families, who believe lies about themselves. I want to find them. I want to show them they can be free. Marcus smiled widely. That's incredible, Anna. How do you plan to do it? I thought we could travel together, she explained, her voice gaining excitement. We can go from village to village trading like you always do, but also listening to stories, looking for people who need help, people trapped like I was. I love that idea, Marcus said, but there's something I need to tell you first. The serious tone of his voice made Anna tense slightly. What's wrong? Yesterday, while I was in the village buying supplies, I ran into someone from your old tribe, a trader named Nahul. He recognized me. Anna's heart sped up. And what did he say? He gave me a message. Marcus pulled a small leather package from his pocket. It's from your tribe, specifically from the Council of Elders. With trembling hands, Anna opened the package. Inside was a letter written in her native language. She began to read aloud, translating for Marcus. To Anna, daughter who left, the Council of Elders has investigated the accusations you made on the night of your departure. We have spoken with all members of your family. We have examined the old stories, the old customs, and we have reached a conclusion. What was done to you was wrong. Anna stopped, her voice breaking. Marcus put a hand on her shoulder, giving her strength to continue. Your family has been banished from the tribe for 3 years as punishment for their cruelty. Your brothers must work to compensate for the years they stole from you. Your mother and father must learn again what it truly means to be parents. We ask your forgiveness on behalf of the tribe for not seeing what was happening, for participating in the silence that kept you prisoner. Tears streamed down Anna's face now, but she continued reading. If you ever wish to return, you will be received with honor, but we understand if you choose not to. The harm done to you is deep. We only want you to know this. We were blind, but now we see. And we see that you are and always have been beautiful, not just in your face, but in your spirit. Spirit that had the courage to break chains when others would have remained trapped forever. The letter was signed by all the tribe's elders, their traditional marks stamped into the leather. Anna let the letter fall into her lap, sobbing. Marcus hugged her, letting her cry against his chest. These were not tears only of pain, but of validation, of justice, of closure. They were right to banish them, Anna said finally, her voice muffled against Marcus's shirt. But I don't know if I can ever forgive them. I don't know if I want to. You don't have to decide that now, Marcus said gently. Forgiveness isn't something you can force. It will come when it's ready, if it ever does. Anna pulled away, wiping her eyes. You know what's the strangest thing? Part of me wants to go back just to rub it in their faces how wrong they were, but another part just wants to move forward, build something new without them. Both parts are valid, Marcus said. There's no right way to heal from what they did to you. Anna looked toward the horizon where the sun rose higher in the sky. Somewhere beyond those mountains was her old tribe, her old life, the people who had harmed her so deeply. But here in this valley was her new life, her freedom, her truth. I want to move forward, she said finally, her voice firm. I want to travel like we planned. I want to help others. And someday, maybe in years, maybe never, I'll visit the tribe again. But it will be on my terms, when I'm ready, if I ever am. Marcus nodded. Then that's what we'll do. They sat in silence for a moment, drinking their coffee, enjoying the peace of the valley. Then Anna spoke again. Her voice was soft but full of conviction. Marcus, there's something I need to tell you, something I've been feeling but was afraid to express. You can tell me anything. Anna turned to him, taking both his hands. You saved me. Not just from the lie about my face, but you showed me the truth about my worth as a person. You gave me the courage to escape. You helped me build a new life, and in these 6 months you've shown me what love truly means. Not the control disguised as love that my family gave me, but real love, love that frees instead of imprisoning. Marcus smiled, his eyes shining. Anna, let me finish, she continued. When you told me that first night by the river that I was your woman, it was only to protect me. But now, if the offer still stands, I would like it to be true. I want to be your woman, Marcus, not because you feel sorry for me, not because you're rescuing me, but because I love you, and because together we are stronger than apart. Tears shone now in Marcus's eyes. He took Anna's face in his hands, looking directly into her eyes. Anna, from the moment I saw you by the river, I knew you were special. Not because you were beautiful, though you are, not because you needed help, though you did, but because I saw in you a strength that even you didn't know you had, a strength that just needed to be set free. He leaned in and kissed her gently. Yes, I want you to be my woman. I want to build this life with you. I want to travel with you, help others with you, grow old with you. Anna laughed through her tears. Then it's settled. It's settled, Marcus agreed. They stayed there, embraced on the steps of their home as the sun rose higher and a new day began. In the distance, a flock of birds sang their morning song. The flowers Anna had planted swayed gently in the breeze, and in her chest, where shame and pain had once lived, something new was blooming, hope, love, and the deep awareness of her own worth. The mask had disappeared downstream 6 months ago, taking with it years of lies, and in its place remained something far more precious, truth. The truth of who Anna really was, not according to her family's poisoned words, but according to her own brave heart. She was Anna, she was beautiful, she was strong, she was free, and she was loved for who she truly was, not who others had tried to force her to be. And that, she decided as Marcus held her under the bright sun, was more than enough.